Welcome to today's reading of the Chandi by Swami Satyananda Saraswati. And if you remember in our previous talk, Mother bestowed on us great love and a promise that she would always be there when we needed her. And now, what went on earlier, you may or may not remember, but this story was told by a rishi that had an ashram in the deep forest, where a king who had been deposed by his unfaithful ministers had gone for refuge, and also where a businessman named Samadhi had gone for refuge when he had been thrown out by his own family. And they had been listening to these stories of the Divine Mother the rishi was sharing with them so that they could understand about why their minds were always focusing on what they didn't have rather than what they did have. And now he's going to talk more to them. First, we'll begin with the meditation. I meditate upon the goddess who wears beauty comparable to the regions of the sun at sunrise, who has 4 hands and 3 eyes, and who holds in her hands the net, the curved sword, and the mudras, granting boon and fearlessness. She is Shiva, the energy of infinite goodness. Om, the rishi said, "Thus, O king and businessman, I have narrated the excellent glory of the goddess. Such power has this goddess that she sustains the world. Knowledge is conferred by her, the perceivable form of the consciousness that pervades all. And by her, you, this businessman and king, and others of discrimination, are being deluded by my Mahamaya, the mother of the universe, and have been deluded in the past, and will continue to be deluded. O great king, take refuge in her, the supreme sovereign. When she is pleased, she bestows upon mankind enjoyment, heaven, and liberation." Thus, hearing the words of that very eminent seer, the rishi, who had performed severe penance, good thoughts, which is the king of the men, despondent over his excessive egotism and attachment to the loss of his kingdom, bowed down to the feet of the rishi. And he and the very wise businessman, Samadhi, set forth to practice disciplined meditation, with the object of attaining the complete intuitive vision of the mother. They stayed on the sandbank of the river. He, the king, and the businessman, in the radiant illumination of disciplined meditation, continually recited the verses of praise to the goddess. They had prepared an earthen image of the goddess on the riverbank, which was worshipped in turns, with their minds fully concentrated. With the offering of flower, incense, and fire, they remained without food or with very limited food. Thus they perpetuated her for 3 years with concentrated minds, whereupon the sustainer of the world was extremely pleased, and she who tears apart thought, Mother Chandi, spoke to them in a perceivable form. The goddess said, "O king and you businessman, delight of your family, you have attained to extreme bliss, and I am completely satisfied. I shall give you whatever you pray for." Then the king chose an imperishable kingdom, which will remain with him in another life, and also the return of his own kingdom, which was forcibly taken by him by his mighty enemies. Then the wise businessman, whose mind was filled with indifference to worldly objects, asked for the wisdom that removes the attachment of egotism and possession. The goddess said, "O king, within a few days your kingdom will be returned to you. And after having slain your enemies of thoughts, you will remain forever firm and unshaken. After your death, you will take birth from the God of universal life, the manifestation of wisdom, he who belongs to all colors, tribes, and castes, and will be the name by which you will be known on earth. O best of businessmen, I grant you the blessing that you desire of me. I bestow upon you the fullest attainment, and you will remain in the highest wisdom by which you will attain liberation." Having thus granted the blessing as each desired, the goddess vanished, having been praised with devotion. Having obtained the blessing from the goddess, good thoughts, the best of the warriors, the king, will take his birth from the light of wisdom and will become the manifestation of wisdom, he who belongs to all colors, castes, and tribes. And having obtained the blessing of the Divine Mother, the businessman, Samadhi, continued praising and loving the Divine Mother. And he actually traveled from land to land, from place to place, setting up small altars of the Divine Mother and teaching people how to do the puja and the worship of the Divine Mother. Bole Baba ki jai, Jagdambe Mata ki jai, Harakandashvari Mata ki jai, Chandi Mata ki jai.